Now at 6 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, Donald Trump selects J.D. Vance as his running mate. Local Republican leader Bill Posey weighs in tonight.
We have details following the removal of former Seadrift Police Chief Marie Carrizales.
And thousands in Houston remain without power following Hurricane Beryl. We hear from area residents next.
We had a little bit of everything today. We had clouds, we had some sun, and we had a couple of little showers. Thing is, it's the rest of the week, we're going to be seeing more and more showers. No heat wave. We're talking a lot of tropical rain by the weekend. We'll have all the details coming up in just a moment.
An MLB All-Star game is tonight at Globe Life Field in Arlington. That's in sports.
News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
Monday night, the Seadrift City Council fired its police chief. Marie Carrizales refused to give comment. The city suspended Carrizales on June 25th. The Port Lavaca Wave reports recently hired officer Cheyenne Beaver was named interim chief on June 26th, while the investigations into Carrizales and Officer James Easley were conducted. Authorities said the investigation cleared Easley. He will return to work once he has taken care of his medical issues. Chief Carrizales was hired full-time on May 3rd, 2023. She joined the department in November of 2021, part-time.
So here is your viewer poll this evening. The question is, how would you rate the performance of your local police department? Is it excellent, fair, poor, good, or you're not sure? According to our results, it looks like good takes the lead with 51% share of the vote. Thank you for voting. We want to hear your opinion. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And of course, we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 10.
Former President Donald Trump chose U.S. Senator J.D. Vance as his running mate in the 2024 presidential election. And
25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick spoke with a local Republican leader about this decision. Adarius, what did Bill Posey have to say about Trump's new running mate?
The decision definitely did shock Bill Posey. However, he says the Republican Party needs some youth.
Let the new generation come up. Let young guys like you figure out what to do, rather than the geriatric bunch that we have here of my generation.
It is therefore my honor to nominate Ohio Senator J.D. Vance for the office of Vice President of the United States of America.
The National Republican Convention cheered on Senator J.D. Vance as the former president made the announcement. However, the decision was shocking. One, names like Senator Marco Rubio or Governor Doug Burgum seem to be obvious choices. Two, Vance was not Trump's biggest supporter. This was him in 2016.
I'm definitely not going to vote for Trump because I think that he's projecting very complex problems onto simple villains.
But times have certainly changed, and like many Republicans at the convention, Bill is happy for the change.
He works his way out of poverty and goes into the Marine Corps, and he's a Marine Corps enlisted guy. I said, man, I like this guy. The more I look at him, the more I like him.
Though many expected Trump to go for a more diverse pick, Republicans are not upset with his final choice.
JD is pro-America.
He stood out for me.
I'm happy that he's got someone who loves this country.
As President Biden and former President Trump continue to go head-to-head, Vice President Kamala Harris has already agreed to debate J.D. Vance. Back to you guys at the desk.
Darius, thank you. Victoria County deputies arrested a 26-year-old man Monday. William Jones of Victoria faces a charge from Bexar County of sexual assault of a child. He has been extradited to Bexar County.
Victoria County deputies arrested a 42-year-old woman today, Crystal Anderson of Victoria, facing 6 charges, including bail jumping, unauthorized use of a vehicle, and theft of a firearm. She is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of a $75,000 bond. And this morning, Victoria Police and emergency crews responded to a 2-vehicle wreck on North Navarro Street. Police say the Volkswagen was traveling east onto a private drive when a GMC traveling northbound hit it from behind. All drivers and passengers were taken to area hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. The GMC driver was cited for failure to control speed, no driver's license, and not securing 2 children under the age of 8 or less than 4 foot 9 inches in safety seats.
Warden police arrested a 33-year-old man Sunday. Christopher Valiant of Corpus Christi faces 6 charges, including aggravated robbery in Nueces County. He is in the Wharton County Jail in lieu of $105,000 bond. The DPS reports 2 men were injured in a crash in Goliad Sunday night. 18-year-old James Prada was driving a 2019 black BMW at over 100 miles an hour when he lost control on Pearl Street in Goliad. The car struck a power pole. About half of Goliad was without power after the crash. Prado and 20-year-old Jonathan Guerrero of Ed Couch, the passenger in the car, were transported to the hospital. They were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. In San Antonio, a man accused of shooting a woman in the head and barricading himself inside of a home for hours is now in custody. Authorities said an argument between a man and woman led up to the shooting early Tuesday morning. That sparked a 5-hour standoff that ended with the SWAT team deploying tear gas. Police said they found the suspect hiding under a pile of clothes in an attic crawl space. Police did not release the suspect's identity. The woman is hospitalized in critical condition.
Investigators are looking into a situation overnight in Eagle Lake. SWAT members with the Harris County Sheriff's Office were hospitalized during a helicopter training exercise. Harris County authorities say there were 5 people in that helicopter. 4 of the individuals were SWAT members and the other was the pilot. The injuries they suffered are not said to be, or rather they're said to be, not life-threatening. All the individuals were hospitalized and the DPS and federal aviation officials are currently investigating. And now let's take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. We're looking for the big heat dome to actually split in half. The big side is going back to the west coast, and this one is going out into Florida and the Atlantic. Well, what happens is that right about here in the middle between them, we're going to have an area of low pressure that's going to trigger quite a few showers. In fact, we're going to be increasing showers day after day all the way through the weekend and early next week. So we'll talk about a big tropical rain coming up in just a few minutes. Stay tuned.
Mac, thank you. Palacios police report that city is now under FEMA response due to Hurricane Beryl. The burn site is now closed to the public. All piles of debris now must be checked before they can be picked up. FEMA has very strict rules for reimbursement, and Palacios cannot afford to pick up all of this debris without FEMA reimbursement. That can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's been a long, hard week for thousands in the Houston area, many still without power.
Hurricane Beryl roared through the city early last Monday, and in the dangerous South Texas July heat, frustration is growing.
We need these lights.
It's been long and hot days across our city as thousands remain without electricity after Hurricane Beryl.
Like, what else can you do? Put yourself in survival mode.
It's turned
no lights
into a week of no power for Patricia Taylor in her Third Ward home on Anita Street.
It's our area.
As she keeps an eye on the Center Point outage map.
They say we have lights, but we don't, so somebody lying.
On Napoleon Street in the Third Ward, large tree branches were cut from power lines this afternoon right in front of 84-year-old Hamilton Branch's home.
I'll be a whole lot better once I can get myself back where I can cook.
You know, it's not necessarily that you want your neighbors to be just as miserable as you, but it's so hard just to see that, you know, you're like, they have power, why can't we?
Vincent Law lives in the East End.
I do feel forgotten because when you're being told on the phone that you're just, 4 or 5 houses and it's not a priority, it's hard not to feel that way.
Feeling frustrated, forgotten, and with no reliable timeline.
It makes us look like we're just numbers in the machine versus actual humans.
Centerpoint says 14,000 crew members are working 16-hour shifts to restore power for families across our area.
To see the Centerpoint trucks riding through here and then your light's still not on, that's the frustrating part.
Frustration they hope ends soon.
The Public Utilities Commission started an investigation Monday into CenterPoint Energy's response after Hurricane Beryl.
And Governor Abbott now threatening to issue an executive order to force the company to improve the reliability of its equipment and level of storm preparedness. Abbott even toured the NRG Arena Monday alongside Houston Mayor John Whitmire and other locals and state officials. Abbott says Texas will continue to focus on assisting residents directly impacted by Hurricane Beryl and those who are still without power. He also blasted CenterPoint Energy, giving the power company a deadline for information on their response to the storm.
CenterPoint is showing us by its repeated failure to provide power is they seem to be just incapable of doing their job. As a result, we will have to consider, the state will have to consider whether or not we should be reducing the size of the territorial region to make it smaller so maybe they can do a better job of managing it.
2.6 million customers have had their power restored since Beryl made landfall a week ago. But as of this afternoon, around 80,000 customers still remain without power.
A sharp decline in migrant encounters on the border in June. Statistics show they were 29% lower than May. The numbers are also the lowest monthly total since January 2021. The decline is attributed to President Biden's proclamation on June 4th to temporarily suspend the entry of certain non-citizens across the southern border. The 7-day average is down to less than 1,900 migrant encounters per day. Since the presidential proclamation, more than 70,000 individuals have been returned to more than 170 countries. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then what can they see on YouTube?
They can catch us on YouTube.
There you go. All right, stay with us. It's day 2 of the Republican National Convention. Coming up on 25 News now at 6, we go over the highlights of day 1.
Also ahead, early reports indicate COVID-19 is growing in wastewater. Those details next. Sources that attended a closed-door CIA conference Saturday. CIA Director Bill Burns said Sinwar is considered about being blamed for the suffering in Gaza, and his senior commanders are growing tired of the war. U.S. intelligence officials believe Sinwar serves as the key decision-maker for Hamas, and he is also considered to be the key architect of the October 7th attacks. It's day 2 at the Republican National Convention.
The highlights so far. Last night's emotional entrance of former President Donald Trump. Tonight's theme is Make America Safe once again.
Donald Trump receiving a hero's welcome at the Republican National Convention Monday night. It was his first public event since surviving an assassination attempt at his Pennsylvania rally. Next to him, his vice presidential pick, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. On Tuesday, we're hearing from several of Trump's former primary opponents, including Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who quickly endorsed Trump after dropping out of the race in January.
The majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear.
Also taking the stage, former South Carolina governor and former UN ambassador Nikki Haley, Trump's chief rival in the Republican primary contest.
At some point, maybe we should say the reason that America keeps losing is because of Donald Trump.
Haley suspended her campaign in March, and it took a while for Haley to say that she would vote for Trump. Her support came with advice.
Trump would be smart to reach out to the millions of people who voted for me and continue to support me, and not assume that they're just going to be with him.
Original reports did not list DeSantis and Haley as speakers at the convention. Their slots were confirmed in recent days. Reporting in Milwaukee, I'm Julia Benbrook.
COVID-19 is surging again. The CDC says a significant marker, the amount of COVID-19 detected in wastewater, has reached high levels for the first time this summer. The CDC says the virus is growing or likely growing in 44 states. Texas is one of 7 states with very high COVID-19 levels. As a result, states are seeing more COVID-19 related hospitalizations and emergency room visits. Health officials say a new subvariant called FLIRT is helping to drive up cases. Elon Musk is officially moving more of his company's headquarters to Texas. Musk announced on X on Tuesday that SpaceX is relocating from Hawthorne, California to Starbase, Texas, citing laws in California that are, quote, attacking both families and companies, unquote. He also said X itself would move its headquarters to Austin. Musk was behind Tesla's recent move to Texas as well, and previously vowed to move SpaceX's business incorporation to the Lone Star State. Mac, do you know the famous American rock and roll band from Hawthorne, California?
The Beach Boys.
Very good. Look at that.
There you
Yeah.
go. I think Hawthorne, Pacific Ocean, beach. That's got to be the one. Good evening, everyone. We're looking at 90 degrees right about now. It feels like 100 because the humidity is going to be up and it's going to stay up fairly high over the next few days. 93 was our high. 95 is the average temperature because it is July. But you know what? For the next 5 to 6 days, 7 days, we're going to be seeing increasing showers and thunder showers. Now, it's not a tropical storm, but we're going to get some tropical rain coming up very soon. So we'll talk about that coming up after this. Well, we had a little bit of everything today. We had some showers, we had some sun, we had some clouds, and now we're looking at clearing skies. It's going to be a pretty nice evening out there, but as you take a look at the big picture, you know, we were the only ones that are getting any kind of nice weather. I mean, the rest of the state, they're dealing with hundreds all the way out to far west Texas. And even though some shower activity coming in from Oklahoma, nothing to cool people down. Last night you might have heard, I know I mentioned it, we had a derecho, that is a squall line, maybe 200 miles wide, and then it rolled south. And places like Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, Michigan, Indiana, they all got pounded by very heavy storms. They got, I think, about 8 or 9 tornadoes that actually came down, and then hundreds of reports of wind damage. Well, again, we go to the upper air, and in the higher levels of the atmosphere, we have the dome of heat, which is actually splitting on us. It's cutting in half. Half of it's going out to Florida, and the other half is moving back to the west coast. As it moves to the west coast, this is going to open up lower pressure here. This is a trough. If you've got a hill here and a hill there, well, then you've got a valley in the middle. Well, that's just going to allow thunder showers to develop pretty much every afternoon for the next 5 to 6 days, if in fact maybe even into the weekend, because this pattern is going to be kind of slow to move. So the heat continues out west. For us, we're going to be looking for several days, maybe 5 or 6 days of continuing afternoon showers. Now, it's not a tropical storm, but it does have, shall we say, low pressure supporting it, and that is what's going to be triggering the rain activity over our area. Now, right about here is where all the rain came with that derecho that came out of, I guess, southern Minnesota and went down here tonight. Below that, you've got the heat wave right about there, the one on the east, and of course the one on the west. It just went that way. But you'll notice on this map, watch these temperatures. Oh, 70, 74, 78, what's going on up there? That's actually a frontal system that's trying to push down. Of course, it's very hard for it to get anywhere this time of the year, but it is forecast. That's the morning, tomorrow morning. And then we get to tomorrow afternoon, you can see how it just sort of pushes down a little bit. It's going to push down to maybe Little Rock, Arkansas, just far enough south to get into the North Texas, and also keep that moisture sort of stuck over us for that continuing rain. You can see how the heat wave just continues out in the western states. And I don't even want to say it very loud, but the western fire season, which is a season now, is probably going to get started this weekend, so we'll hope for the best. The Atlantic continues to baffle everyone because it's not doing anything. A couple of easterly waves, one there, one here, and one over here, but nothing in 7 days is expected to develop out of the tropics. Very interesting. So tomorrow we're looking for a high of 92, a couple of isolated showers in Port Lavaca. In Cuero, you're looking for a high of about 93. Couple of isolated showers, kind of like today. And then in the long term, this is where it gets interesting. A few isolated here, isolated there, and then on Friday it starts ramping up. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I see a lot of afternoon tropical rain. So it'll quiet down at night, it'll build up in the morning, and by afternoon we'll have shower activity all over the place. So consider that if you've got outdoor plans or if you've got any work to do outside, you're going to be dealing with stormy weather. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody, we do have a QR code. That's a quick response thingy, that fuzzy thing there. You take a picture of that with your phone and you can put Crossroads Today on your phone. And we'll toss it back to Karina.
All righty, now here's Max Williams with your sports.
Thanks, Karina. The Victoria Generals are back tonight against the Gein River Monsters. That's coming up in sports. Stay with us.
Generals are currently 24-10 right now and first in the Texas side with a 6-game lead over the Brazos Valley Bombers. They still have 2 games left. The batters that have been the top batters for the Generals, Damian Whitfield and Anthony Avalos. So far, Whitfield has 26 hits and 10 RBIs, while Avalos has 38 hits and 20 RBIs. The Generals are looking to finish strong down the stretch to make the playoffs. MLB All-Star Week is in Arlington at Globe Life. Adolis Garcia put on a show in the first round of the Home Run Derby. He had 18 home runs in the first round, but stumbled with some bonus balls and couldn't get out of the first round. Teoscar Hernandez took the Derby title, and tonight is the MLB All-Star Game, and the lone Texas star Marcus Semien is replaced by Jose Altuve, who dropped out. Joe Bryant, the father of Kobe Bryant, has died at 69. Bryant was also known as Jelly Bean, who recently suffered a stroke. Bryant played his college ball at LaSalle and was drafted 14 overall in the 1975 NBA draft by Golden State. He's also had stints with the Philadelphia 76ers, then the San Diego Clippers, and later the Houston Rockets. A post from the Sixers called Bryant a local basketball icon and offered condolences. This comes 4 years after Kobe and his daughter Gianna died in a helicopter crash. In the NFL, San Francisco 49ers Brandon Ayuk officially requested a trade today. The organization has not begun negotiations on a new contract with the All-Pro receiver. He says he's looking for a contract comparable to Lions' Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4-year, $120 million deal. He has 1 year left on his deal worth $14.1 million. And finally, the 152nd Open Championship will start this Thursday at the Royal Troon Golf Club in Scotland. The odds favorite is Scotty Scheffler, 4-1, Rory McIlroy is 8-1, and Bryson DeChambeau at 9-1. Tiger Woods is also planning to attend. He sat down with the media to discuss how he feels playing with Woods.
Tiger's been nothing but incredible to me over the course of my career. In the good moments and in the bad. You know, he sent me an incredible message after St. Andrews in 2022. And he's, you know, I met Tiger when I was 15 years old, and you know, I've built up a great relationship with him, his whole family.
McIlroy is hoping to bring home a major trophy to his native people of Scotland and keep atop in the PGA standings. That's all in sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
Thank you, Max. We're going to be back in a moment. Up for auction, the first computer built by the co-founders of Apple.
Apple desktop computer, created by the company's co-founders, is now up for auction at Christie's in New York. The computer was taken from Steve Jobs' desk after he left Apple in 1976. It later became part of Microsoft's co-founder Paul Allen's collection. Apple One is expected to sell for between $500,000 and $800,000. Or about how much it costs to buy a new Apple these days. I'm just kidding. Bidding starts online August 23rd with a live auction being held on September 10th in New York. Hey, we have 5 locations where our hurricane tracking guide can be picked up. Go to crossroadstoday.com. Click on Weather, Hurricane Tracker, and you'll see it on your right below Storm Prep 2024. Now, as Max showed us on the maps, there's no activity going on in the Atlantic, and we're kind of happy about that, really.
Well, not right now, but it's early in the season, and you know it goes. It's June too soon. July stand by. August you must. September to remember. October it's over. Now, November is part of it, but I don't count it because by then the frontal system starts to move. But if it happens, you're ready. That's the best part.
That's right, and there's no hurricanes in November. A lot to be thankful for.
Yes, and by then the frontal system starts moving down and keeps them, even if they existed, they'd stay out in the Caribbean waters. Well, we're looking for increasing rain chance. It'll be a tropical rain. I call that because it's just the kind of big downpours that we're going to be getting as we get to the weekend. It'll be a little bit better chance tomorrow, and in significant chance for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Tropical rain, but not a tropical storm.
Correct. Correctamundo.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Mac, and thanks for joining us.
And we hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10.